Well, I think the biggest success, I'd probably talk about two things. One is we're doing a lot with BPM, Business Process Management. We've done that in several of our agencies now. We're finding a lot of success there using agile methodology, and BPM is really about workflow. It's about how does a process work. If it's less about coding, but how does a process work? And then can you take changes, which of course change is inevitable, and put that back in the hands of the business users, allow them to make change the process, change the workflow, transparency, all those type of things. And I think the second thing I'd look at and say was very successful this year is we've done a lot about workforce development, recruiting, retention, succession planning, those type of things. And we're all facing the baby boomer challenge. We'll lose about 20% of our IT workforce in the next 2 years. So it's really incumbent upon us to find other pathways to bring people in. We've revamped our intern program, created a mentorship program, and some other things along those lines, a tech night where we bring high school kids in to teach them about careers in technology and stuff. And really revamping that, and we've had great success. About 70% of our interns have become full-time employees, so we're very happy about that. I think that the buzzword here obviously is the partnership, public-private partnership, however you want to look at that. And we're doing a lot with both the local government and the university. We're reaching out, and one of the nice things about government as opposed to the private sector is you're not in competition with anyone. You're in there to help everyone. One of the things we've done working with the University of Southern Maine, we've created a statewide cybersecurity testing lab, and a place where people can go and test solutions and test if they're getting viruses or things like that. And it's both for public and private businesses, and part of the outgrowth of that, a lot of the students have taken an interest at the college level in cybersecurity, and we're leveraging some of those students to work with the cities and towns that may not have the IT staff to understand, where are your exposures, penetration, testing, that kind of stuff. So we're trying to say there's a win-win here where private and public can come together, share best practices, and also as a side benefit, start to help cities and towns that just may not have, they may not have a staff of 100 IT people to be able to look at that stuff. So that's been very successful. One other thing we've done in the state of Maine along those same type of lines of, state and local working together is something we call Project Login, which is an effort to work with the universities and private companies to double the number of IT graduates in Maine over the next 4 years. And this has really taken off. We've got about 100 companies involved with this, along with the universities and the state government, all working together to reach even down to the elementary school level to start building a pathway for students who might be interested in technology, all the way through high school and college, and say, how do we encourage people? How do we let people know these careers are out there? So those are just a couple examples where there are areas of problems that are facing us that we can all work together on and find better solutions for. I think it's the willingness of people to adapt and to change and to look forward. People really work hard in state government. I've been there for 2 years. My background has always been in the private sector, so this is a new experience for me. But I see the passion, and I see where people want to take things and how people want to move things forward. People are really committed to giving back, to having a social aspect to their work. And I think if you can capture that passion and move that forward, I think it'll be very successful. Well, there's a lot of things going on in state government. You've got the Affordable Care Act. There's a lot of work going on with that with every state, and there's a lot of questions around that. Most states are looking to rewrite their eligibility systems, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of dollars, and so that's probably one of our biggest ones, and we're hoping to work. We're working a lot with CMS on the federal level, to how do we get this done? What do you need? How do we get funding? All those type of things. But it's that typical, how do you change the tire when the car is moving? It's we have a lot of other work to do, and then we have to do that. I think on the Department of Labor side, we're looking at things like consortiums. The federal DOL has worked with the states to build up several consortiums where states can rewrite their UI systems as one. Instead of every state doing it individually, we're in a consortium led by the state of Mississippi and along with Rhode Island, being very successful, where you say, well, we're going to use common code with local differences, and that's the way to do it. And I think that's a great move forward for all the states, because all the states are in the same business. So how do we work together and minimize the coding effort and take advantage of things we can do together? Well, that's an interesting question. I think what you do is you tap into the passion that people have. People can, people get frustrated over processes over time, and if you find if you find the champions, if you find the leaders within your staff and within your business units that really want to change and really look at the industry and stay current with the industry and say, there are other ways to do things, there are new ways to do things, I think you build upon that innovation and you keep the open lines of communication and open forums and meetings to say, well, we have these issues, how are other people solving it, how should we think about solving it, how do we move forward? And I think you quickly find that people with the real ideas and the drives will move pretty quickly to the top and become leaders in that type of environment. Well, I started off the conversation talking about business process management, and that's where we're having some success. And we have one particular example of Department of Labor where we take a process where what we call unblocked claims, and those are, blocked claims. Those are claims where someone is unemployed, they put in a claim, and some amount of data differs from what the employer has. It could be start dates, it could be something small or something bigger. Well, that process used to take us 42 days because it was paper intensive. We would contact them, they would contact us, things would get lost in the process or would get stuck on someone's desk. And we went in through a BPM process, through a reevaluation of the workflow. We reduced that 42 days to 4 hours. So those type of efficiencies you bring in. And I think we're going to look more and more as a state into that. I mean, think about what states do. States take in data, they process it, and they put out information, which is just ripe for improving processes. So I think that's where we're going to see our biggest efficiencies.